Koi kaimar hili kaleye bate nantu man. Koshenden uheoko dioi popa bate iti retan guitato.
This is Chana, a language believed to be extinct for generations due to colonial expansion by the Spanish people. That is, however, until one person came forward with his memory, his culture, and his language. From assuming that this language was completely extinct to now desperate attempts to revive the language, this is the story of Blas Omar Jamie, the man who saved a language from the brink of extinction. Let's set the clock back to the year 1502, when Spanish explorer Amerigo Vespucci docked his boat on Argentinian soil. The region was fittingly named La Plata, since the Spanish had believed the area was rich in silver. Not much had happened here until 14 years later, in 1516, when Juan Diaz de Solis was the first person to sail Rio de la Plata, or the River of Silver. For reference, this is the name of the river that separates Argentina and Uruguay. He was killed in his journey, but this marked the start of colonialization in Argentina. The native peoples were able to hold off the Spanish settlement attempts until 1538, when the first permanent settlement was founded by Pedro de Mendoza, being a little city we know today as Buenos Aires. Now, this area was heavily contested for a little while, as the native people had tried and succeeded to eliminate the threat. But the pesky Spaniard people had created another Buenos Aires in 1850. The Spanish now had a foothold, and the true extermination of the native people's culture was about to begin. Over the next 200 years, the city grew, which allowed the Spanish to better be able to control the region. More cities started popping up around Buenos Aires, and the indigenous people's cultures started slowly dying out. The full effects of colonialization were beginning to be felt. When the Spanish established Buenos Aires, they established a social hierarchy that put indigenous peoples at the bottom and the founders at the top. The indigenous way of life was changing, and there was nothing these people could do to stop it. The Spanish kept coming, expanding, and pushing them to the wayside. And this slow death was not pretty either. The Spanish created military regimes specifically to kill off the indigenous peoples and use their land for farming. The ones that survived could not use their native names, and their tongues would be cut if they spoke their native language. And with all these deliberate attempts of the colonizing powers to eliminate the indigenous cultures, how is it even possible for a language to survive all of this? Well, let me explain. The Chanas, the indigenous group who speaks Chana on the bank of the Uruguay River in Argentina, had lived there since time immemorial, or since the northeastern Asians had crossed the Bering Strait land bridge around 11,000 to 30,000 years ago. Since the foundation of the Chana people, the women were in charge of the tribe. That is, until an event happens. No one knows what it was, but it was enough to shift the power dynamics in favor of the men. However, the women did not let go of power so easily. They agreed on the exchange of power, so long as they were the only ones allowed to keep the history of the tribe and their language. And so it was. As the people were slowly being killed off, fewer and fewer women held their culture's history, and because of the oppressive regime that the Argentinians had set up, it became necessary for the women to educate each other in secret. This was how it had happened for a long time, until we reached the sole surviving Chana woman, Miguelina Yalon. She had 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy. Plenty of options for her to pass down her culture's history, right? Unfortunately, the 3 girls had passed away before they were able to learn Chana, forcing the mother to teach the boy Chana if she wanted to preserve her culture. And the boy is the protagonist in our story, named Blas Omar Jamie. He is the man who is reviving the entire language of Chana through a movement he started in 2005. He spoke with linguists who accurately matched the language that he spoke to the only known record of Chana, a document made by Damaso Larrañaga, transcribing an interview with these people in 1823. Now, we have Mr. Jamie, who is working with essentially everybody to preserve his ancestral language. Linguists have constructed a 1,000-word dictionary of the Chana language, along with cultural rituals and beliefs with his guidance. He taught his daughter the language, and now believes that she knows it better than he does. He claims that through the work that is being done now, he has no doubt that the language of Chana will not die with him.